When was the moment you realized that your best friend wasn't your best friend? My best friend of high school, someone who I thought would be in my life for a long time, started to hit on a girl that I was talking to. He would lie about me to change her opinion of me. And the best part is he never admitted to a thing. Maybe not that bad, but I felt really betrayed. Feeling betrayed is a side effect of betrayal. My best friend was going to be my best man at my wedding. A week before the wedding he called me and said a friend of his had called him and invited him to go fishing the day after my wedding. And that they were driving up the evening of my wedding. He told me he could probably make it through the ceremony but would have to leave right after. No time for pictures or the reception. I told him not to worry about the wedding and to go fishing. I had my brother be my best man instead. Never talked much to him after that. At the end of the day the right person was the best man. When I opened up to her about my postpartum depression, and she told me that she didn't have time for depression and it was weak. I was never vulnerable with her, but I was dying inside. I needed someone, and she had told me she didn't care. I began shutting her out then. When I invited her to hang out with me at the nearby lake for my birthday, she said she would get back to me. She never did. Instead she posted on her Snapchat story about how much fun she was having with her other friends. I stopped talking to her after that. When he didn't invite me to his birthday party, I went over to drop off a present, thinking he wasn't having a party, hadn't mentioned anything at school, and found him with his better friends. When she invited me out to dinner as a Christmas gift, and then when the check was dropped, told me she actually couldn't treat because she had impulse bought her shitty boyfriend a plane ticket when she was drunk the evening before, and therefore didn't have the money. Among other things. But this was the moment when I was really like, wow, my friendship means nothing to her. Every time she called me I would have to poop. Literally the sound of her voice would make my body want to expel waste. And this was before cell phones. So I had to do the poop dance in the hallway while trying to get off the phone with her. I have lived within 2 hours of him for the last 6 years and he has never come to visit me, always me visiting him. Last straw had a huge the 4th of July barbecue and invited him, and he declined so he could go to the lake with strangers. Duck you Rick. When I realized she only wanted to receive support and kindness but never give it. She had a rough home life growing up and I always supported her through everything. I would drop what I was doing when she'd call me in tears to help her. Then I had my own rough patch that left me in a depressive rut. She was always too busy with her hobbies, not even actual work/school, to even talk to me when I went seeking support. Would get angry when I sent simple, "Are you free this weekend?" texts, because it was too needy. This is also when I learned who my real best friend was. Because she saw what was happening, told off this so-called friend, and gave me all the support I needed. Best friend of 15 years. It all unraveled the night he told my cousin to kill herself, tried to start a fight with multiple people at my house, and flipped off my mom. Edit, yes, he was drunk at the time. No, I'm not reaching out to him. Disrespect to my family is an irredeemable offense in my eyes. He's out of my life completely now. When she told me my husband and I would make hideous babies, because red-headed babies are the ugliest thing she has ever seen. She also locked me out of our hotel 4 hours from home with no way home at 3 AM that same day, after an argument over her saying my husband kills people for a living. He's a chemist who works on developing chemotherapy. That was the last time I've spoken to her, 4 years ago. Such a jealous woman. Best friends for a couple of years. We were in different classes. I wrote her a message that I'd be on my way to her. When I arrived, she forgot to alt tab the chat window with someone else making fun of me at the worst possible way. At that time she was my only friend. Was tough to have no friends after that for a long time. This might not sound like a lot, but I think that scarred me and I'm still struggling making friends. I found out she was uploading my art to a bad art blog. I only found out because she sent me 2 paragraphs telling me I was a horrible friend anonymously on Tumblr. Then when I went to her crying over it wondering who it was, she said it was her and then blocked me. I thought I could still fix things, but then I found the bad art blog with my art on it, and found out she was talking shit about me to her other friends. I was only 15, and even though it's been years since, I'm still ducked up by it in some ways. If you don't like someone, don't pretend to like them and make fun of them behind their backs. Just let them know you feel like you can't be friends anymore and distance yourself. Yeah, that will hurt in the short term, but it won't monumentally duck over someone's entire psyche as being fake will. When she got s-faced drunk at my her godson's, wedding, trashed a hotel room, called me horrible names and punched me closed fist in the face. She ended up passed out on the grounds of the hotel, came to and was arrested for trespassing, because she refused to leave the premises. Days later, via email, blaming me because she didn't realize she was harboring so much animosity towards me. Bye bye. When my best friend had marriage troubles, I was there for him. All through his wife's infidelity, the divorce, and the custody battle. I testified on his behalf in court, and he got custody of the kids. Fast forward 2 years later, when I find out my wife is cheating on me. He's not really interested in talking to me about it so much, and even acts like he's not home when I stop by for a visit. And no, he wasn't the one my wife was cheating with. He's a good dad and a fun guy to hang around with, but he's just not emotionally available to help other people out much. When we went out to eat and I offered her to pay, as usual. Because she told me that she forgot her purse, she ordered loads of food and ate only half of it. After leaving, her shoelace was loose, and she bent over to tie her shoe and a $100 bill was sticking out of her back pocket. She did this for 4 years and I never realized. Gave her another chance without saying a word. 3 days later, I found out she was constantly using my Instagram to text my ex-boyfriend to end my current relationship. I think she never got slapped so hard. Our conversations were getting shorter and less intriguing. One day, I received great news and wanted to share it to my best friend. I then realized that they deleted and blocked me on Facebook. Damn man. He was best man at my wedding. We had not much contact for a couple of years, but I still considered him my best friend. I heard about his wedding well after the fact. Guess we're not best friends anymore. I have a group of friends from college. We did our student teaching together and we were close. A few years later, I invited them to my wedding, and most of them came and had a good time. At this point, almost all of them are engaged or married. Guess how many weddings I've been invited to? 0. It ducking hurts. While they were driving, everyone decided they wanted to party. No one had money, so they suggested they should call Varvatus. He always has money. I was sitting in the back seat. I was like, I'm right here, and I'm not in the mood to party tonight. I was totally this guy, but with tree. I was always hooked up and knew everyone in town that's old bud pretty much, so whenever a friend of mine had a drought, they'd always come to me. But then these two fellas decided I'm always holding, and that they could save a fortune just mooching off me. I'd be more than happy to sell a cut of whatever I was holding, but that's never what these two wanted. They just wanted to put their feet up at my place all afternoon and smoke my weed. Once I was at work, and they texted me asking if I left my door unlocked for them. What? We live in a ducking shithole. No, my door's not ducking and locked. Not even when I'm home do I leave the deadbolt open. So naturally the follow-up was if they could get my keys so they can hang out at my place. And asked where I keep my tree in the same message. Texted them a long tangent about how disrespectful they're being, and all he could ducking say was, chill the duck out bro, it's not a big deal. Next time they came over, I happily packed and lit my bong, and when the guy reached out for me to pass it over, I just cocked a brow and took another rip. After I told him he ain't smoking if he can't match, and somehow that makes me the villain. They left early that day, and stopped coming over after a couple more attempts at toking my hard-earned bud. We graduated from high school and she went to college halfway across the world. When she came back to visit, when I tried to hang out with her she was always too busy. I later saw tons of pictures posted on Facebook with her and other girls having fun together. So that's what she was so busy with. Then at one point she told me that those girls had actually invited me to everything. but she convinced them I wouldn't be able to go. I would have been able to go. I left her alone after that. Edit. I see a lot of speculation in the comments, so I'll try to clear things up. These girls were all people I'd been going to school with since kindergarten or so. We all knew each other. I was on good terms with the other girls. The girl I'd been best friends with since first grade, so I felt loyal to her even though as we got older she got meaner. I've learned better since then. I have no idea why she said that, but when she said it, it was with no malice or shame or anything. Like she was just offhandedly stating a fact. I honestly can't figure out why. Maybe she really did think I was busy, and it just came out really, really wrong. But it seems deliberate when you do that consistently for 2 to 3 weeks while everyone was back home. My best friend in high school did this. I found out she was telling people I was busy for things and to not bother inviting me. I was actually really lonely and would have loved to be invited. The last straw for me was when she invited me over for her birthday. She said she just wanted to spend the day with me, but then told me I had to leave at 2 o'clock for a family party. I was very close with her family and thought it was weird that I had to leave. Turns out she was having a bunch of people over for an actual birthday party and didn't want me there. To this day don't understand it, but it was very hurtful, and I was done with her after that. When I got an internship at my dream job, and she started to pull away more and more until 2 months went by, and I realized she ignored most of my texts and Snapchats. After the internship I tried to contact her a few times, thinking it was just a product of her being busy with graduation / me being in another state working crazy hours, but a mutual friend stepped in and told me she didn't want to be friends with me anymore. I considered her family. She decided I was very replaceable. It hurt a lot more considering we both used to bond over the fact that our childhoods were filled with best friends dumping us for more popular people. When they would talk about themselves but never ask about me. This can be a tricky one, especially if you're an introvert. It can seem like a full relationship because you learn so much about them. But later you finally realize they don't know a thing about you, because they never ask or have to go when you start talking about yourself. Sucks to realize it. Ordering me to help her with stuff, and there was once my 2 friends and I ordered drinks. Friend A forgot to get a straw. My best friend, which is friend B, just took my straw and passed to friend A, and asked me to go and get another one for myself. I was so heartbroken. I would have started World War III over that straw right then and there. My best friend was always complaining and making everything about herself. I met my boyfriend and moved cities so we could be together. Only after a while did I realize that I was feeling so relieved to stop catering to her needs. Telling his brother after I had called to talk for a bit like we always did, I told you to say I'm not home if Putis pants are here cold. Was upset, but it also clued me in to not waste time on that person anymore. Just told him not to worry, and that I would talk to him later. Never did, just left it at that. I gave this person way too many chances. When she would only have me come over so she could go to a concert. Because her parents liked me and let us go out. She stopped talking to me for a while, but hit me because she was applying for a job and needed clean urine. We stopped talking again. Then she would call me to tell me she needed food and money for her son. And then bought drugs. I've stopped helping her. And she's no longer my best friend, but I listen when she needs to talk and having a hard time. Do the man. That really sucks. I don't hate her. But I've set boundaries. I really hope she gets her life together. In our final year of university, after having a nearly identical schedule for our first 3 years, we took different electives to finish up our degree. Since we weren't seeing each other every day, we talked less and less. It's not just on him. I didn't do enough either. But it kinda sucked realizing that our friendship wasn't going to last up to graduation, and obviously afterwards as well. He was asking for help from my other friends in school for a problem on his computer work. They suggested why not ask me for help, since I sat next to him in class, and then replied, I'm not asking him, he's ducking stupid, while I was right near him printing stuff out. I was so surprised. I just pretended I didn't hear anything and went back to my desk. Didn't speak to him for a while after that. Stop following me around, I don't even know you. Ironically, this was actually how my best friend and I made a new friend in middle school. During recess, the two of us would just walk around and talk to each other because, you know, we were nerds and physical activity is overrated. One day, a girl just joined us and started following us around, listening but not saying much. Eventually we learned her name, and, when she finally opened up more in high school, we all became really close friends. But for a while there she literally did nothing but silently follow us around. And we were just cool with that, for God knows what reason. She was a kind person, smart as can be, a go-getter, really down to earth, just painfully shy in middle school. When we reminded her of that time, she just sort of shrugged her shoulders and said she was awkward, she didn't know why we put up with it, and we had a good laugh about it. We've since grown apart because of college and adult life taking us in different directions, but I still have extremely fond memories of that. It still makes me chuckle. When he just stopped hanging out with me or talking to me, and hung out with all the cool kids instead. Haven't had a friend since, he was my only friend.